Welcome to a Song of Ice and Whiskey podcast, where we drink and we know things.
Hello, and welcome to a Song of Ice and Whiskey podcast. We're going to be drinking some whiskey. We're going to be talking about the pilot episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Luke, do you know why they call it a pilot episode? Because this is kind of our pilot episode as well.
I don't.
It's to
Enlighten me.
It's to get you on the air. That's what a pilot does. They get you on
Fair
the
enough.
air. So,
Never thought of that.
But we're going to start this episode the way we will start every episode with a nice little glass of whiskey for both of us. Luke is drinking something much nicer than I am. I decided to start our first show with a knockoff brand, which reminds me of Kentucky Tavern, a local well back home in Nashville, Tennessee, where Luke is enjoying his time. Luke, what are you drinking on?
I'm doing Woodford Reserve today.
It's a classic. You can't
Nothing wrong with that.
You can't go wrong with that. So we're gonna pour these up,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
we're gonna go ahead and start talking about a little Night of
All
the
right.
Seven Kingdoms. So,
All right.
Luke, how did you feel about the first episode? The tone, the tenor, the music, the casting, just any general thoughts that you just kind of want to start us with.
So, definitely a lot lighter than House of the Dragon. Definitely a lot lighter than the main series. Very whimsical. Lighthearted feel. A lot of comedic relief. A hopeful kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to the gray of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it gets rid of that
But
somber
different
tone.
vibe, but I enjoyed it. Yeah.
100% agree.
Yep.
Yeah, like Game of
Loved
Thrones,
it.
House of the Dragon. And while I enjoy both of these shows, they often have a lot of really somber sort of moods to them. And I thought that this upbeat, more fun approach really is a different sort of take on Westeros, and also seeing it from the small folk perspective. This was I didn't know I needed it until I had it. Though reading the book, I was really excited for this series as well, as I know you were. A couple of things I really want to note.
Much needed.
A couple of things I really wanted to note. They, instead of using Ramin Djawadi, who has done the music for Game of Thrones and for House of the Dragon, amazing composer. But I think that the music that he has created for Game of Thrones is very fit for those specific shows. Where this needed something a little bit more lighthearted. And if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. But I thought Dan Romer did a very good job of creating a really fun sort of atmosphere. One of my favorite scenes in this episode involves dancing, and the music in it I thought was phenomenal, added to the atmosphere and everything. Also want to give the casting in particular for Duncan Egg as for Peter Clafley and Dexter Sonasol. Again, I'm going to be bad at pronouncing these names at first, but we will get better as we get more and more familiar with these actors and characters. So let's start with the opening scene. What are your thoughts on this opening scene?
Loved it. It was, like I said, it was kind of shows Dunk's emotions. You know, he respected this guy even though he beat him constantly.
Yeah,
we see those backflashes. We see him slapping him around every chance he gets. But Dunk kind of breaks down. Yeah, Dunk breaks down, and of course, after the funeral, we see him kind of speaking to the horses and putting his thoughts aloud, and kind of he has no one to talk to. He has no friends in the world. He's this self-appointed hedge knight, trained by a hedge knight, and he doesn't have many people to talk to. He's kind of figuring out his next move, and he kind of considers let's have a good meal, let's have fun, and then spend all the money, and then we're into thieving. Or he goes to a city. He kind of decides I could go to the city watch. I could go to city, and that doesn't seem to pan out. And then he remembers there's a tourney at Ashford Meadow.
Yeah, well, that's where him and Sir Arlen were headed at first. Sir Arlen, I don't know if he was going to compete, but he was heading to the tourney to be part of the spectacle,
Right.
at least. And we what the fake out with the title screen absolutely set me off, like in a good way. I was like cracking up on my couch. I thought it was a perfect metaphor, or like not even metaphor. It felt like a exact replica of season 8 Game of Thrones, where you hear the title music and then Absolute comes out. Yeah, I thought that was absolutely hysterical. And it also, again, speaks back to the tone we were talking about. It let us know right away how the tone would be very different for this. I also appreciated the dialogue that he was having with the horses, because if you've read the text, most of it's written from, in fact, all of it's written from Dunk's POV, so a lot of the opening scene is Dunk's thoughts about all of this. And by having him have this conversation out loud, we were able to convey these thoughts that he's having, but it made it like come across more organically, like as opposed to kind of forced and we discussed this off air, like just me and you talking about like they could have had like a narrator do it, which would have probably been a lot of like showrunners sort of like, you know, maybe just have Peter Claflin like narrate over Dunk here. And like,
yeah,
and that could have worked, but I think that this worked so much better, made it so much more organic, and I think that Game of Thrones doesn't want like narration; it wants the world to kind of like come to life on its own, as opposed to being like forced by some sort of commentary or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought this opening scene was a really good way to like sort of like set the tenor and tone.
Agreed.
But after that, we get to a scene that me and you both loved, the tavern scene. That like, tell me what you loved about the tavern scene.
So it kind of reminded me of the book. It was very straight to it. He met the innkeep, and she offers him a couple of options. It's like, we have lamb, we have bread. It's like, I'll take both. Of course, she speaks up. She's like, of course, you're big enough for both.
Yeah.
And before that, he meets Egg. He sees him as this insolent boy.
He kind of is.
He asks him, yeah, he kind of, what did he say? He was like, take care of the horses, oath for all three, and give this one a brush down. And it's like, I could if I wanted to. Of course, he gives the typical answer he got from Sir Arlen.
I'll give you a clap in the ear.
Oh, you want a cuff? Yeah, clap in the ear. And but if he does good, he gets a copper.
Which at some point we'll realize that
then he walks off.
At some point we'll realize that copper means nothing to this character. We'll save that.
Yeah, it means nothing.
We'll save that till I'm guessing episode 3 or in the post spoil. We'll do a maybe a minute or two talking with like a spoiler warning ahead for those that don't want to ruin the show for themselves. This scene just felt like it was like printed straight off the book. I really did get a lot of the like vibes that I got from the book on this one. The biggest difference that I noticed was the drunken person, who is a character that we will see again. I had kind of imagined more of like a sloppy drunk, but he was like a passionately angry drunk, and I thought that added a little bit of tension there that I didn't expect to have needed right there. But like it went from, and then like even the innkeep being like, never mind him. I thought the tone that I got from the book was just her being like, oh, just whatever, he's just some drunk idiot. Like, you know, I mean, I guess like I bartend for a living, so I guess I'm used to that sort of temperature of like, you know, drunk idiot at the bar. But after that scene,
she gives a bit of an.
No, go ahead.
She gives a bit of a knowing vibe, like this guy.
Yeah. Like that's how I felt it from the book.
She's used to what's happening.
But I felt like she was a little bit more like she was like, never mind him, and like sort of like she knows that he's like an issue, but it's better that you don't engage it. Like which was a little bit different than just he's an idiot vibe. It felt like it was like, hey, like it felt like she sees him as a dangerous person, which I thought was an interesting choice.
This is a mess he didn't want to get involved.
And this is one of the things when you go from like looking at the text versus looking in like the show is just like and I don't want to alienate television shows watchers too much. This scene was great. Like really enjoyed it. but like you hear it in a certain voice in your head, and then when you see it on the screen, sometimes it's not exact. But like that is the difficulty of like reading is tone is not always conveyed unless it's explicitly conveyed. Like, and that scene, it wasn't like super explicitly conveyed those kind of things, but I was going to transition.
Just to put in here.
Yeah, go ahead. If you got one more thing on the scene, absolutely.
Yeah, just going to say, in my mind, when I think of the drunk saying, "I dreamed of you," I think of a guy laying on a table, thinking,
"Yeah,
I dreamed of you." Yeah. Kind of a passive,
like, flip it almost.
Kind of a drunken stupor. Yeah. But instead, he's standing there. He's got his hands on the table, and he's like, "I dreamed of you. Stay away from me," which is kind of a different vibe,
Yeah, very much. Like, and he's like playing with the dagger too. Like, adds kind of like the menacingness of the scene for sure. Like,
drops that dragon.
Yeah,
drops that dragon when he leaves.
Yeah,
which could mean something later.
Yeah. That's a significant amount of coin for those of us that are not up to date on our Westerosi economics. That probably paid for his whole tab, his room, his everything, and was a nice bit of change for the barkeep as well. So then we move forward, and then we get to meet the plumber. I don't believe he's explicitly named in the show. He is plumber in the book. He's the steward. The games master, I believe, is the term that is used in the show. This scene was fun for me. Like I got a good crack out of this scene. He seemed like again, really doing a good job of like disarming the audience from like the intense, somber, sad, bad things happen Game of Thrones, and a little bit more just like. Like, being a small folk, you don't deal with the crazy politics of, like, the High Lords and stuff. Like, so this felt like a little bit more like genuine people in the world as opposed to, like, the High Lords and ladies. How'd you feel about the scene with the steward here?
So, as I was telling Doug off screen, it reminds me of the older lady, at the front desk or at some little shop, and she's giving you the answers to your questions about, buying whatever you're buying. She's also giving you a little gossip, He thinks a lot of himself, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Making fun of his lead.
She's got something to, she's got 100%. Something to, some gossip to say, and she just wants somebody to say it to that's not going to spill it to him. And here he's got this fresh face, this blank slate. He's like, I can run my mouth to this guy. And of course, every time, you think he's going to completely shoot Dunk down, he's just kind of spitting.
Yeah.
You think he's going to...
The audio of the spitting is so foul. Like, it's absolutely disgusting. Hot.
Yeah.
Sorry,
about 5-6 moves.
I swore I wouldn't do it. I got a drink now for that.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. What did you think about the Ashford chair punishment? The torture with the strapping the arms and the legs and taking you up and down on a spike.
It sounds like something they would do in the other continent.
Yeah, like in Essos. Yeah.
The opposite continent, over in Essos. I mean, it sounds like something that would happen in Marine. But pretty brutal, but of course he shoots it down quick. He's like, I'm screwing with you.
Yeah, this is the Reach. Do you think we're those those people from the Riverlands? Like, by the way, the River...
Throw some shade towards the Riverlands.
Absolutely, just catching complete strays here. Like, House Tully's just sitting at home like, hey, wait, it's the 50 cent meme? Wait, what? 54. Like, I think... Yeah, those
like we're just chilling here in the Reach. House
Tully just not minding their own business. Good. Just House Bracken, House Blackwood. They're all been out of shapes about this. Like, so like we were also talking off air that the Ashford chair is also going to be the punishment for those that listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and don't give a 5 stars, or you're on YouTube looking at our beautiful faces and not hitting that like.
Heed our words.
Not hitting that like and subscribe button to make the algorithm go crazy. But so if you're not doing that, just know your penance will come, because this is the Riverlands, baby. No, I'm actually closer to the Vale, but as far as my current, we're up in the mountains here in Colorado, so much closer to the Vale of Arryn than I am to the Riverlands, so to speak. But I digress. I also I got a good kick out of the horse clowning him when he was what's a hedge knight? It's like a knight, only sadder. I'm not sad. That's what they all say, right? Oh no, we have lost Luke. That is unfortunate. So we are going to give a little pause, and I'll see if I can get us back on the air in just a moment. Okay, so we are back after small technical difficulties. I believe we finished up with the Ashford chair and all of that, and then were you still on the line whenever I started talking about the horse clowning Sir Duncan the Tall?
I was not. Repeat that. I had one small note on the steward.
Yeah.
So that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I thought it was super interesting. Like he seemed like a ornery kind of character, like kind of pushing against Dunk, and you think Dunk would lose all hope with this guy, but in the end he kind of gives him some empathy. He sees Dunk walking away, and he's like, "Look, let me throw you a bone. You get this knight to vouch for you, and we'll get you in there." Yeah, and I just thought that was interesting. He seems him clearing his throat and spitting and all that.
Yeah.
He seems little like a wall that Dunk would run up against, and it was kind of nice to catch a character with a little empathy, a little bit of humanity in all this.
Yeah,
in all this,
and
and
he didn't have to do that, but I think that
no,
but he's also like, hey man, I like you, but my job is to my Lord of Ashford, so I cannot betray that unless you give me really good reason to do so, because I can't just be letting any landed knight or sellsword into this tournament. This means a lot to the people I work for, so help me out, and I will help you out. But you've got to meet me halfway here.
Help me help you.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go full.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the exact point I was. Yep.
And
we're on the same page.
Do your best, Tom Cruise, everybody.
Right.
I 100% concur on that sort of thought, though. Yeah, he's trying to throw you a lifeline here, Dunk. But you do gotta and this is the difficulty of being the small folk, is that you do have to kind of combat getting your invite to the party, so to speak. As he's leaving there, he wants to go speak with Dondarrion to try to get said Lord's favor. And when
Sir Manfred.
Is it Manfred Dondarrion? Yeah, there you go. Someone's got to be good at the names on this show. But I'll have some that he doesn't. Don't worry. But when he's doing that, the whores are clowning him, to basically saying this dude ain't waking up for hours, and he'd much prefer to be having some recreational adult fun than talking to some hedge knight. And then they mock him for being a hedge knight, saying it's like a knight, only sadder. And I just thought that sort of that interaction was great, especially because Dunk is kind of awkward around the ladies, and and I thought that scene kind of conveyed it, and then immediately he's going the wrong way, and then swears as he realizes he's going the wrong way, because that's always what happens when you're trying to walk away after being embarrassed.
Give me your best Dunk impression.
Oh no.
Well,
it's got to come organically. I will. I don't do a good Irish accent, but there's a couple lines. You'll get me to do one at some point. Maybe after a few more
Looking
of these.
up the stars.
Whiskey's been known to bring Irish accents out of it. I do love Peter Claughlin's accent, though. It's fantastic. It really is so great. So after that, we have a little bit of a puppet show with a character that you guys will get to know a little bit further. But it was gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of the thing they're reenacting. But it was a character from George has written so much history for Westeros, it's insane. But he's trying to hide behind the mirror shield, thinking the dragon will only see itself. You know, the foolish things that men in Westeros have done to try to defeat or conquer dragons. And did you enjoy the puppet scene? I thought
drinking fire.
I know the book readers are having a tough time because in the book he and Luke mentioned this in pre-show. It's done like hand puppets, and here this is a full-on production, like with like massive. But I mean, like the art department had to the art and media, like they always do these big like CGI dragons and all this. It's like we gotta have something for the people that need the big animations and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this is as close to a dragon as you're gonna get in this show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
So much less, but much more grounded. Is grounded the right way to describe the tone of the show?
I'd say that. Yeah, it's closer to typical like medieval, story.
Yeah.
There's probably still some magic floating around in a different continent, but right now we're just in England and 1250.
Once we start getting like the characters,
we're very close to that.
Once we start getting characters like Bloodraven involved, it'll spice up a little bit for sure.
Right.
But we'll get there on another episode.
Mm-hmm.
But all of this finally brings us to Dunk walking around, and he runs back into Raymond Fossaway, who we had an interaction with earlier. After his cousin had beat the seeds out of him and described him as still rag.
Stefan Fossaway.
Yeah, Stefan Fossaway and Raymond Fossaway, and what was he called him? Half man. I was like, what do you mean half man?
Like, of course, Dunk took offense.
He's like, no.
He's like,
man,
no, you're half man, half giant.
I don't think that it conveys
he's
how
good-natured.
I don't think that they overdid the and I think that they should have done a little bit more of showing the fact that Dunk is supposed to be close to 7 feet tall. Like, he felt like he was probably like 6'6", 6'7", which that's probably about the height of Peter Claffey,
of the actor.
Yeah. I drew a blank there for a second. Apparently, drinking whiskey is having an adverse effect on my memory. But in other news, water is also wet, so keep that in mind.
Oh, fair enough.
and then he asked him though, do you want to go eat? And what does he say? Always.
Always.
Yeah. And same.
A guy that big and he doesn't get much to eat either. So he's constantly looking for food.
Yeah.
It's like he's going to go wherever.
So he joins Fossaway in this tent, and then Fossaway immediately bounces off to who knows where. But
melts away.
But then Dunk is just sitting there looking at this feast that is well beyond what he's used to eating salt beef, which is just like your equivalent of like really
ramen.
Bad jerky, just something just to kind of sustain, not something to enjoy. And now you see him just grab the leg. I'm not sure which bird leg it is in particular, but it's about as big as my waist. Well, okay, my waist is bigger if I'm honest, but it's as big as my head. How about that? Let's go with my head. It's as big as my head. Absolutely massive leg. Like that. I about took a bite out of my TV. How did you enjoy the tent scene?
I loved it. Again, I hate to bring up our past, but it just kind of reminds me of that sometimes, A bunch of people communing, having a good time. And it's kind of this moment. It's this moment you almost forget you're in this drama, and, you forget about the problems melt away. And everybody's just kind of having a good time. They're smiling. They're laughing.
That's a tournament, and most of them are rich and drunk.
Yeah.
I'm half those things.
Right. There's no worries there. Like, who cares? Like, whoever wins, we're all going to have a good time. We're going to get drunk. We're going to eat some food.
Yeah.
And then Lyonel, what does he say? He's like, I have something, or I don't remember the words, but he's like, I have a thought to bring out,
I have a
or
thought.
have
Does
something
anybody
to say.
care? And now we're getting to
Yeah,
to both
does
of our
anybody care?
favorite. And, like, we've kind of like been bouncing around, avoiding mentioning it, but Lyonel Baratheon, like Daniel Ings, is the actor that
Stole
played
the
him.
show.
Absolute, just everything that episode needed. Oh my goodness, favorite character. I'm not gonna have a discussion about like if another character should be my favorite character. I'm just gonna talk about how much I loved Lyonel Baratheon. He was awesome, absolute madman.
Fantastic.
So like the first interaction, I think you really enjoyed the. If you want to talk about the when he's first talking to Sir Dunk, like he's like, "Tall boy, get over here."
Right.
Yeah, take it away.
And he pulls him over. He's like, first he gives him a hard time because he's sulking around. He's slouching. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" He's like, "The gods made you tall. Be tall."
Be tall, yes.
And of course, I think Dunk sucks that in. He's like, "All right." I don't think Dunk's used to talking to lords. He's used to being on the edges of things. He was a squire.
Yeah.
He's probably talking to a lord like in earnest for the first time, like in a serious conversation. And of course so he takes that to heart, but then he's like, why are you here? Mm-hmm. And he says, what do you have to bring me? It's like, I don't know. Sorry. Mm-hmm. And he tells him about this other lord who's like, he can't pay his rents. His peasants are starving during the winter, and he still found this little bauble in his basement to give me. And of course, Dunk is dumbstruck, and he sits there. He's like, "Well, supper. I came here for supper."
And Lyonel Baratheon just cracks up. He's like, "Of course you are."
He's cracking up. He's like, "That makes sense. Whatever." And of course, it devolves, and he asks him if he likes dancing.
Do you like to dance?
Of course. Yeah, and that's one thing I'll say is Dunk. You think he's real timid, and he kind of is in some situations, but he's not a complete social isolationist. He's like, yeah, who doesn't like to dance?
Yeah.
So they go out there, and they're jumping around. Lyonel jumps on his foot, stomps on it. Dunk's a little surprised, but I think he takes it in stride.
Hey,
and all of a sudden,
this is Lord. What am I supposed to do about it? But then finally, he's like, I'm going to step
he plays
back.
The game.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course, he beats him at his own game, stomps on his foot, and they're friends.
But I love the performance from Daniel here, where he like is leaning in and like looking like, "Oh, you bastard! I wasn't supposed to say that. I'll have to censor that in post." Actually, no. I think I can say that. Have your people talk to my people. Figure out what I can and cannot say without getting demonetized by the YouTube overlords. But he's like leaning into him, and then like, and I'm sure Dunk in this moment is about to pee his pants. Like, oh no, they're gonna like hang me. I messed up. And then
I stepped on his foot,
and immediately Lyonel is like, this guy, like he needed him to challenge, like, and I absolutely like
somebody not sucking up to him.
the show, like, and it was a character that in the books I was just like, hey, he's fine. This whole scene though, like, is like, he does interact like briefly with Dendarian in the tent and everything. They made, this scene is one that they made just for the show, like basically though, and.
You're talking about
Ira Parker and the show creators.
Dendarian? Okay.
Yeah. This scene was not like the way it is shot and the way it is done is not like this is just like a simple meeting between him and like
fabricated, but it's fantastic.
Oh, but it brought some characters to life. It added some levity, like that. This show is clearly pushing towards. They're leaning into it, like. it's Dunk the Lunk,
Yeah.
and like this is like
anybody who complains about this is just sour grapes.
Yeah,
and
like
a weirdo.
But also like it with like the novella for this season is like 115 pages or whatever. Like it's very very very
like
small.
that, yeah.
Like and so if they didn't add at least something to it, like they could have just made this a really they could have just made it a movie. Like and just made it a movie series. If you're gonna make it a show, you need to add a little depth, a little and I thought that this did a great thing. And like based on seeing like the previews and stuff for like future episodes and whatnot, Lyonel Baratheon is going to be my favorite character this season. I can 100% tell you that right now without any hesitation.
He got almost no love in the book. Like it was all turny stuff.
Yeah,
there was no character development, and I think Robert Baratheon's grandfather deserves a little bit of
great grandfather, great grandfather.
You're right. Sorry, and I said it. Great grandfather.
And the apple did not fall too far from the great grand tree, like or great grand tree. Like,
give me. Let me put a side note. I was going to say something. The ages kind of threw me off. So for a lot of the nights, in my mind, Stefan Fossaway was a lot older.
Yeah.
And there's no reason he should have been older.
Stefan and Raymond were both older in my mind.
Stefan Fossaway is 40 years old, like in my mind. I don't know why, but Stefan Fossaway he's not as young as he was, and Raymond is not. In my mind, Raymond is in his 20s, and Stefan is in his late 30s.
Yeah.
And Stefan, I think, was probably 30.
I think
visually,
Stefan's age didn't mess with me as much as Raymond's did. Sorry, a lot of you non-book readers will not be enjoying this conversation, but he's a baby. He's just right out the crib.
I mean, he really does look like he's maybe 18 or 19. And in my mind, the way he talks when he says, "Well met, lad," things like that. I think of him as 30 or late 20s.
Yeah. So no.
My best guess.
But I guess in hindsight though, like because of the fact that he was still a squire, maybe I should have inferred more about his age. But I think you're right. The language of which he used in the text,
should have, but we didn't.
The language that used in the text. But I mean, I guess that might be our Americanized brain not being used to proper British law, English. The king's proper English. Sorry, we are
proper
done with
English.
Accent work. We are done. We tried it. It didn't work.
Yeah.
We're already canceled. It was a great first episode.
It's what I was talking about though. It's that ages were different then. I mean, in this fantasy world. But
George bases a lot of his stuff on like medieval Europe. Right. It's not unfair to us to make comparisons to real world medieval. Like it's not inappropriate. Like it's
that's not our job. That's George Martin's job. So in my mind, I'm thinking I just don't think of someone that age. I think of someone a little bit better established. Yeah. But like you said, he was a squire, so I guess it makes sense.
We are going a little bit long for this first episode, ladies and gentlemen, but that's okay.
Yep.
We might kind of play around with like the show length and kind of see what works best. A little bit of this is our first time doing this, so we will do the best we can, and we'll learn and get better every day.
Here we are.
I enjoyed the way the episode ended though, because if you look at the way episodes, let's just go back. First episode, Game of Thrones, and Jaime Lannister shoving Brandon Stark out of the tower window. It set a tone for what the episode was, or for what the show was as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
This one ends with Dunk and Egg laying under the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And Egg giving this great thing of seeing a falling star is supposed to be good luck. but none of the other knights will see it because they're in their nice pavilions. But we are sleeping under the stars, and like,
Very helpful.
And this context might make more sense as you get to know Egg's character and like his actual background and whatnot. And the fact that he's embracing this like life on the road, sort of like we're in the weeds here, like just slumming it and looking up at the stars. Like, who would want a tent over us when there's this? And I found that a beautiful way to wrap up the first episode. And in developing this relationship between this knight and this squire, that is kind of the foundation of what, because like it was Tales of Dunk and Egg, but now it's a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Like the terms are kind of synonymous at this point, except one of them is the show title and one of them is not. But like, I thought that was a really, really strong finish and like sets a precedent for like what we should expect from this show.
Agreed. I think it was very, very helpful. Like something you don't see in the main series or House of the Dragon. It's just very, very upbeat. You know, it's like
hopeful. You used that word to begin the show. You said the word hopeful, and like at the time, I kind of was like, oh, because we were still talking about the beginning of the episode, but I think the end of the episode is where I feel like that hopeful vibe. Like, yeah, you know,
yeah.
Now, ask me if I want to be a small folk in Westeros.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I got whiskey on my bed for a dramatic effect there, but it was worth it.
I'd like to be the richest Targaryen if I'm stuck in that universe.
I would like to not live in Westeros. Thank you very much. And if you invite me to a wedding in Westeros, I have something to do that day. My goldfish. It's my goldfish's birthday, and we can't miss that. Like, sorry. Any other thoughts on the episode? Do we need to do a spoiler section or not? We ran a little long already, but I'm game to do a spoiler section.
How about a looking ahead?
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about, though?
Okay. Do you want safe looking ahead for people that have not read the book, or do you want you should stop right now if you haven't read the books? Putting them on the spot here, ladies and gentlemen.
I think we should just. I think we should put ahead our. I think we should tell them what we want to see in the next episode.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna put the spoiler. I'm gonna put the spoiler warning on it.
Yes,
I am. Because we do know. We do loosely know what's going to happen in the next episode. We can pretend like we don't and be like, "Oh, I bet yada 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 is going to happen."
Ooh, I wonder if something's going to happen.
Oh my god! Yeah. Like Daenerys Targaryen's going to come in on a dragon. It's insane. Like, no, yeah,
she's going to save the whole.
We can pretend we don't know. What we know. So, if you have not read the source material, this would be a great time to log off, and we will see you next week. Please like and subscribe. But, so if you are still with us, then either you don't care about spoilers, or you're a fellow book nerd like the rest of us. So, I guess in the next episode, I still am looking forward to the meeting of the armorer, which I think sequentially happened before the 10th, because that happened on the first day, if I recall correctly. And I do think that they need to have that engagement with the armorer, because like it
I think so too.
It conveys a theme that is kind of a theme in the books of like where it's substance over flash. Where he's like, you won't have like the crazy dragon head or the like stag of House Baratheon.
Yeah.
Like, but you'll have good steel that'll keep your head alive. Like, you know, and I think that's a substantial sort of thing. I don't think we're going to get quite to Egg's identity of Aegon IV Targaryen being revealed.
I don't think that either.
I think that's... No. But I will admit, I looked at the show titles, and I forget the name of episode 3, but I'm 99% sure episode 3 is where that will be dropped.
Right.
And so
I think we'll meet some Targaryens in the second episode, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. We're gonna meet.
Yep.
We're gonna meet Aryan for sure.
Some obvious
We'll meet
Targaryens.
Baelor. we'll meet Baelor. Like, yeah, we're gonna meet. Maekar. Yeah, because they're
Maekar.
Yeah,
and Valar, probably.
Yeah, we're gonna meet a lot of Targaryens in the next episode. Though we did not see a single Targaryen in episode 1. That was the thing that happened. No Targaryens. We got a Baratheon. We didn't get a Stark. Like, very much, they did not give you the major houses, which I think was a good sort of strategic decision to let the small, like the small character narrative build. Like,
yeah, I agree. I think we're gonna see quite a few Targaryens here. I think we're gonna meet. A lot's going to happen in the second one. I really hope. Again, back to the armorer.
Yeah.
I really hope we meet him too. Because
if they cut that scene,
you're right. It happened pretty quick. I seriously doubt they're going to cut that. I really hope.
Yeah, that would be rough. That would be a rough.
He's a big. Well, it would be like cutting pencil. I mean, it's integral to the story.
Oh yeah, because he eventually is the one that gives the shield after she's unavailable to do so. Yeah. So all right, we are thoroughly looking forward to episode 2, and we are also a good chunk over the time. God bless whoever has to edit this thing. Oh God, that's me. 7 hells.
7 hells.
Speaking of 7 hells, I'm going to embrace the obvious. You won't see me every single week wearing the University of Miami hat, but I had to rock it when we were playing in the national title game. And yes, I know the result. And maybe that's why I finished half this bottle during this podcast, is because we lost in heartbreaking fashion. But I won't bore you all with that. Please come back next week, and we'll talk a little bit of episode 2. After the season, we'll maybe do a recap. But we will continue going all the way into Hot D Season 3. But thanks again for joining us. One more cheers, Luke. Thank you for being on the air with me. I'm already starting to get the a little bit of hiccup action, but cheers. See you guys next week.
Cheers. Sounds good.
Thank you for joining us. See you next week for more Westeros and whiskey.